Enhance. Enhance. Enhance.
Let me just say that there are some weird fucking advertisements on Twitch. There was a splash with something plus fizz, and like, who? First of all, who greenlights these things? But what market or audience are they trying to reach? I don't know. Like, you could say kids, and I don't fucking know. It's just, you could see I'm trying to put a thought into words, and I can't, because it's really weird. But you know it's not weird, as you could see behind me. This is Sunset Riders. It is paused, so we could play the intro as I start the stream. It is, at the time of today's recording, today's stream, it is May 4th, 2023. Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. I always thought that whenever they say, may the force be with you, not 4th, because it's May. When they say proper in the film, may the force be with you. I almost slipped. It's like, may the Lord be with you. It's like this religious cult thing. Weird, but what the hell, man? Off the topic, going completely on tangent here. What happened to Star Wars? Like, really? As I've said all along, and a lot of people are starting to have the same sentiment, is back in the idea, and I always reminisce about this. I like how my arm's getting cut off here. Back in the day, I always use this example. Jim Cameron sat down and he's like, hey, I got this really good idea. I had this fever dream when I was directing Piranha 2. He goes, I had this weird fever dream where the cyborg from the future was coming to kill me, and it was like this chrome skeleton coming out of fire, and he drew it, and he still has that. And whenever I see it, it's just mind-blowing. And the producer, whomever he talked to, was like, you know what? That's a badass fucking idea. Here's your budget. I believe in you. And thus, a classic franchise was born. He had a good idea for Aliens, and he had a great idea for The Abyss, and the person in charge of greenlighting stuff was like, that sounds excellent. Let's go for it. And I'm sure back in the arcade days, Konami was like, hey, we got this really good idea for a 4-player simultaneous game. We did really well with Ninja Turtles, but now we want to do like a Western theme on it. So you have 4 cowboys, they're going in, they're shooting shit up, it's 4 players, it'll rob people of their quarters because it's going to be difficult, but it's going to be fun and inventive and creative. It's going to have a great soundtrack. And with the current tech we have right now, this is what we envision for, as you can see behind me, pause. This is what we're going to envision for the set piece. Now it feels like, if you look at Redfall, I'm not trying to be one of those, streamers and YouTube people who jumps on the bandwagon. I try not to do that. I actually refuse to do that. But it seems like with Redfall, or just about anything modern in today's day and age, 2023, everything is made by a committee due to metrics. That doesn't always translate well. And you can see that with a lot of indie releases in today's day and age. A lot of indie releases are far more competent and better conceived than about 90% of AAA stuff. Like Jedi Survivor, Last of Us Remake, and Redfall on PC. These are all $70+ titles that require you to have a reasonably feasible rig. There's probably another $2,000 investment. What the fuck is going on? Seriously, like, what is going on? We are spending this money as a consumer who love what we do, and we're getting fucked royally. And not to say, well, that's the only reason I dive into emulation is, is to play better games. No, no, no. Emulation today is more about games preservation. Even like with, I think the Turtles Cowabunga pack, like there are differences. Actually, let's backpedal for a second. Let's talk about NBA Jam, the one-up arcade version. I was actually watching an interesting video uh, that Scott DeWaz just posted. He's great. I love his personality, but he was, he was talking about like the IKEA feeling of one-up arcade machines, but more importantly, adding to the IKEA feeling of these one-up arcade machines. My man Vincey has the X-Men vs. Street Fighter cabinet. The buttons are all cheap and everything. Anyway, his enthusiasm has dropped significantly. I'm actually wearing a Street Fighter 2 shirt. See Blanca here. Throw it out there. These are all the defeat. But if you look at the NBA Jam arcade cabinets, there still is some type of licensing going on where the rosters are not complete. So you're telling me that I need to spend $400+ for not only a shoddy product, build-wise, but we now have a release that should be one way. I totally understand the legalities. We're paying that much for a game. Why are things tinkered with or altered? That is not games preservation. That is cashing in on a license. Now, I could go on and on about this stuff, but needless to say, this is exactly why I have held on to emulation the way I have for the past 30 years. I started emulating in 1990. I would say the past 20 years. Started emulating around 2003, around the GameCube era, the 32-bit console era. Because I remember, actually it was before that, it was around 1996, and I just found out about Nesticle, Nintendo Emulator. By today's standards, it's not much, but go back to that period in time. That emulator, I wouldn't say those emulators. Those emulators, like the early iterations of SNES 9X and the SNES, I always went with. Now it's the SNES 9X, Nesticle, which rhymes with testicle, and Genesis. I remember it was like a bloody pointer. Like it was cut off at the wrist and it was bleeding. Those early proof of concept realized emulators at the time were designed to run on like Pentium 1 processor. Onboard VRAM of like a megabyte, like super small hard drive. I think my very first hard drive was around 100 megabytes. I think it was Windows 95. Really primitive technology, but the proof of concept was there. And the point I'm making with this is that it blew my mind that I was able to sit at my computer and download all of these Nintendo games that I once owned or never owned and wanted to try out that were very hard to get a hold of. Like, I mean, purchasing games back then was a lot different. There wasn't a ridiculous surcharge because everybody is going after, the actual, like, physical thing. Like, this is actually an N64 controller that I've been saying I'm going to open it up and clean it. And it's been sitting beside me for years. I actually have to wind up the... So owning what we now call retro consoles back then was different. It's far more readily available. They weren't as old. They were more like recent, previous gen pieces of hardware and software, right? But it just blew my mind that, yes, I could have the cart on one hand, but on the other, I have everything digitally archived that I could play at my leisure. And as the years went on, my library grew and grew and grew. And there's a lot more talk about emulation on YouTube. There's a lot of prominent figures out there. RGT today. He's RGT85. I love that dude. I think he lives in Connecticut. But he was talking about how easy it is to set up Switch emulation. And the whole emulation thing can be bound to legality, but the long story short is if you want to find something, just do a Google search. There's a lot of prolific sites out there that have all the older stuff, and if you do enough searching and go through enough shady sites, which is why I always download everything on my phone and transfer them to my computer, you could find anything, and I mean anything. Philips CDI, 3DO, Virtual Boy, Nintendo View, I think it was called. It's the satellite view. That's what the nomenclature is based off of. And the beauty of emulation, people are just so immensely consumed with the notion that it's piracy. If you're downloading Breath of the Wild to try it, I'm sorry, Tears of the Kingdom to try it out of curiosity 2 weeks before it comes out, and then you just keep streaming it or you keep playing it and all that on your emulator, that could constitute piracy. But there was a study that was done recently that said people who pirate and emulate are more likely to end up purchasing that said product or game or whatever. I didn't upgrade my my text scroll. Jesus Christ, I'll fix that in a second. But if you look at it the way I do, I like to keep more of an open mind and accept what I'm doing. Like, yes, I download and emulate Switch games. I'm not going to stream them because I feel that is highly disrespectful. I'll stream older stuff, but like, I'm not going to suddenly fire up Ryujinx, which I can't get to work, and stream Tears of the Kingdom, and people are going to come in and be like, yo, Sai, dude, that is so cool. Like, what are you playing this on? Are you playing it on the OLED? Are you playing it on the OG model? Is it the custom Legend of Zelda Switch model with the OLED screen? I'm like, no, it's Ryujinx. That goes against my principles. However, I will try out Pokemon Legends Arceus, which I actually did, but modded. That was cool. Or, for instance, I will stream Breath of the Wild, excuse me, on the Wii U emulator, Cemu, because it allows for far more tinkering of the game's engine. With that alone, I like to say that, from my perspective, emulation is games preservation. Because entities like Sony and Nintendo will shut down game shops after a while. So now your games have an expiration date. What is wrong with the notion that you are paying for something to own, and one day the switch is going to be flipped where you cannot access it? And that is the question that I ask you guys watching me here on Twitch or on YouTube. I always archive my stream here. Not to get too long-winded into an opening monologue, which is currently going for 12 minutes and 50 seconds. What are you looking to do with the things you download? I am looking to preserve. Sunset Riders, I don't think has been released anywhere. I mean, we have the Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection. We had X-Men, which will follow this game here. We're going to go through Sunset Riders with 4-player simultaneous, and then we'll switch over to X-Men, as I mentioned in my live tweet. Check out my Twitter right there. I have fun with it. If you want to consume these games kosher or legit, whatever you want to call it, that is your prerogative. That is fine. But now, if you want to play Sunset Riders, you will either have to go for the Super Nintendo version or the Sega Genesis version, I think, or the arcade version, meaning you're going to have to go online. You're going to have to find somebody who sells an arcade game, hopefully who's close to you. If not, you're going to have to pay an exuberant fee because retro is very expensive now, like DK Oldies, which I heard is a huge ripoff. But back to the notion at hand. Sunset Riders, you probably paid $4,000 for the arcade unit. But hey, I live in Connecticut. The person I purchased it from is in Georgia. So that means now either I have to have it shipped from Georgia, which is going to be super expensive because arcade cabinets started around a 200-pound range. So there's shipping. Shipping is probably going to be the same cost as the arcade machine. Or you drive to Georgia, you rent a U-Haul truck, you load it into your truck, you drive it home, and now there's all the maintenance things associated with it. There are communities out there devoted to arcade preservation, and I think that is phenomenal because it's a dying breed, especially CRTs are not made anymore, and if you want to repair a CRT tube, it's exorbitantly expensive because the tech doesn't exist anymore. So with all of these things leaning into an individual, dude, the cost is overly expensive. The logistics for somebody who can't afford it make absolutely no sense. What other options do we have? We can't lean into the big companies. They're not doing a very good job of it. I mean, look at what Gerard, the completionist, did in order to preserve the entire eShop library. He spent like $28,000 check out his YouTube video with Friends Per Second with good old Ralph and Jake Baldino, and I keep forgetting her name because she's fucking awesome. She's kind of cute too. But the hoops we have to jump through in order to preserve something is asinine. And on top of that, it's ridiculously expensive, regardless of if you buy the legit version or a digital version that a company is offering. But it has an expiration date. Why would you want to deal with any of that when you could simply go online, do a search, Sunset Riders, MAME, and you find all of your versions, you download all the files, and you just turn MAME on, and here we are. To me, to summarize all of this, emulation is games preservation through and through. Pirating is different. There's a sensibility to pirating if you go about it the right way. Best example I could think of is Assassin's Creed Origins. You go to a crack release community and you download Assassin's Creed Origins. It is better than the actual Ubisoft release with the Nouveau in it. It's kind of ridiculous. It's weird in this day and age with all of the technology we have that we have to jump through illegitimate hoops in order to enjoy something. That blows my mind. I don't understand. But needless to say, I've been emulating / games preservation you want to call it that, for the past 20 plus years. And there is no better way to go about doing it because it's all under your control. Download what you want. You're not tied to anything. You can enjoy things that you grew up with or things that you never tried. And you know what? Something that you consume may be so good, you will be compelled to go out and purchase the real deal. Very good example. One more before we get started here. I feel this is important to say. Is my man Drew. Shout out to you, Scion Storm. I love you, man. Wish we could hang out more. He purchased, I forget the name of the handheld, but it's like FC Retro or something. It is a Game Boy, a legit Game Boy that accepts all Game Boy formats, cartridge-wise. So you could pop in a Game Boy Advance game, you could pop in a Game Boy Color cartridge, or a Game Boy original cartridge. So like the gray square cartridge, or the clear plastic cartridges, or the rectangular cartridges, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. You could play the games legit on that hardware, which is phenomenal, by the way. The screen is probably one of the best I've ever seen. Or you could use an SD micro and upload ROMs to it. So, in essence, you could have Metroid 2 Return of Samus. I use that as an example because I love my Metroid 2. Great game. I grew up playing this shit. You could use your purchase cartridge that you own physically, or you could play the ROM, or have both. There's nothing wrong with that. We're not hurting anybody by playing arcade games that are forgotten about 20 plus years later. Now, again, if I was to stream Tears of the Kingdom, first of all, Nintendo would shut me down. But again, that goes against my principle of what games preservation stands for. And I think, to quote Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that. Games preservation in today's day and age is very important due to just all of the red tape, regardless of your approach. It's the way to go. It really is. I'm setting the control on my lap. I feel it's doing... Okay, continuing arcade classics coverage at two of Konami's best. Konami was a shit back in the day. I'm not going to lie. Konami was phenomenal. Ninja Turtles, X-Men, Simpsons, Sunset Riders. The list goes on and on and on. Now, I only name those because those are the ones I'm most familiar with. There was something special about Konami's pedigree back then. Of course, we all know they're responsible. Some shmups, I believe, as well as, of course, Metal Gear Solid, but that is neither here nor there anymore. I need to just do a sound check here, so this. Pause it. Haha! Come on, Dutch! Arthur, one more score, Arthur! One more score, we can go around the world. Can't go around the world, Dutch. Huh? Because I'm a flat Arthur! Yeah, it's enough of that. Meat something funny. About to have a duel here. Oh shit, where do you get shot? Billy? I guess Billy the Kid? Bob? I do not remember any of this. And Formano. So let's do just this right here. We're gonna turn this down to 32 decibels. Okay, so again, when you're emulating, every game has its own attributes. Every game's audio levels fluctuate. So I have to manually adjust. All right. So I remember, and I call this retro and reminisce for a reason. Whenever we play retro stuff, we always reminisce. All of us. Oh man, I remember when, or this brings me back here, or dude, I remember playing this game with my bros back in the arcade. Oh my god. That's exactly why I call this retro and reminisce. Because games that we grew up with will always be special to us. Every individual has their own take on something. My memories of Halo on the original Xbox will be different from yours, and vice versa. We will have some same ends of the spectrum, but we're all going to have our own view on it, our own take on what our experience was. And that's what is so special about gaming. I mean, movies, or I should say film and music, especially music, but gaming, I feel, is a little more special because it's interactive. Like, if I was to sit down right now and watch Terminator 2, I sit there, I stare at a screen for 2 hours and 40 minutes, depending on which version you watch. Watch the director's cut, the Skynet cut with the alternate ending, but it has those really cool scenes in it. Anyway, you're just watching something. Or music, even though it's a little more powerful, you're listening to something. But games, you're watching something, you're listening to something, but you're also interacting with it. And especially when you have an excellent I wouldn't say AAA release. Whenever you have an excellent title that's released, it will move you in the same way that a film or a piece of music has. But again, you're interacting with it. So God of War 28, God of War Ragnarok, sublime. Spider-Man for PS4, Last of Us Part 1 and 2. Part 2 I know is divisive. Carmano is like, yeah, I know it's in me. Those were all excellent narratively driven experiences to interact with. And we need more games like that. I know Spider-Man 2 is coming out later this year. I hope it's good. Well, Sony has excellent. Armored Core 6, which looks phenomenal. That's going to be a day one purchase for me. We need more of that pedigree. But it's really cool to go back to something that was far more simplistic and a byproduct of its time and get the same reaction. Oh, look at those scrolling effects! You can never go wrong with a good Western. '91, same year, I think, as the OG Ninja Turtles. So what I like to do here, whenever we do 4-player games or multiplayer games of the arcade variety, excuse me, I always like to do 4-player. Why isn't, let's see here. What? No, that should be keyboard 8. Okay. There we go. Everybody has 63 credits. You ready? Reward, Simon Greedwell. I like that name. And there we go. 4 players simultaneous. We cannot do any harm here. And there's going to be so much slowdown. Watch out for the pitchfork. This is so awesome. Run to avoid getting killed. Whoa! Blowing up soon. I love how the explosive is one giant pixelated asset. This is so cool, man. I love doing this.
Kind of pain.
Oh, did Steve get shot? I think Steve died. Who won?
Bury me with my money.
You know, even though he said bury me with my money, it sounded like he said marry me with my money. Hawkeye Hank Hatfield. Don't get you good if you're not careful. Oh, the horse riding stage, dude. This is awesome. Oh, somebody died. Bob, sorry. This is so cool, dude. Come on, Dutch! Arthur, one more score! Becker's not a playable Arthur character in Sunset Riders. Maybe in Sunset Riders 2? Side-scrolling shoot 'em up, produced by Rockstar Games. That'd be amazing. Games are so much better. Ah, no! With more than one player, this is so cool. The sprite work in this is still excellent, even by the age standards. This is still really good.
Draw, Pilgrim.
Damn, dude, we're kicking this thing's ass. Why is Bob always winning? What's going on here? Bob is killing it. Damn it, Bob. Looks like it's always going to be player one here. Yeah, so I think the cursors overlap, and 1-up always gets priority. That's interesting. Reward, Dark Force. Are we after the horse, or are we after the guy riding it? Throw it back quick! Blowing up soon. Bob got toasted. So it looks like we're kind of revisiting... We're kind of revisiting some older set pieces here. Damn, dude, we're flying through this. And Bob is still ahead at 40k. Shoot right in.
You in heap big trouble.
Oh, we gotta jump over the horse. Okay. Ooh. Ah!
We in heap big trouble.
Cormano! 30k, nice.
You all right, ma'am?
Oh, those terrible men. Please help.
All right, ma'am. Don't worry about it.
Gotta love the storytelling, man. The Smith brothers. Yeah, see, yeah. Where's the curly mustache?
We're gonna blow you away.
Oh, damn, we all just got torched at the same time. Holy smokes, I just got murdered. So if we touch the boss, we die. Alright, interesting. Ah, he exploded. Nice. Damn it, Bob! You always winning, bro. Ah, boss damage. Okay. Ah! When it stutters like that, I'm taking screenshots. Hold on one sec. I'm sure this is as colorful as it got back in the day.
Oh, you boys are so...
I will tell you a secret. A huge reward is being offered for Richard Rose, but be careful, he always has 3 sidekicks with him. This is great, man. I believe there was an SNES port for this, which was really good, but the Konami ports were always 2 players. Because the hardware could not handle 4 players at the same time. And also, there were only 2 controller ports. Whoa! We all just died at the same time. Whoa. Oh, shit! We need to watch out for that. Okay, let's huddle up. Best way to play this is to huddle up. There you go. Whoa! Whoa. Okay. Oh, damn, dude. This is how people really fought in the Wild West. Oh! That is a potent flip, dude.
Adios, amigo.
Hey, that's cool! So does that mean the person who... Damn, he's catching up. The person who scored the most is the one who gets a hat? This is Lethal Enforcers 1.0. And I love how they're all palette swaps. The diagonals always screw me up. That is hard, by the way. Yeah. One up always gets the most. Chiefs scalp him? They would never make this today, man. Whoa, I just slid into that. I didn't mean to do that. Whoa! I thought I was dead. Nice. Oh, we made it. What I'm really liking about this is how simplistic this is. It's simplistic, but it's so effective. This is fucking awesome, dude.
Me ready for powwow.
Ooh! The knives go just slow enough to where they're annoying.
Please, don't shoot my brother. He's only following orders.
All right, man. We won't shoot him.
Alright, man, we won't shoot. Get it, Bill! Bob, same difference. Dude, he's, damn. Paco Loco. Oh, alright, another horse stage. Love it! The details here are awesome, dude. Like, the horses are rearing when their rider is shot off of them. That's amazing. Art direction trumps all, man, and the art direction in this is fucking phenomenal. Oh, no! Now for X-Men, we're going to turn on unlimited mutant power cheats. That's going to be fun. Because X-Men, as great as it is, it can get really, really, really repetitive. Oh shit, guys, come on. This is just like Contra, dude. Did Bob win again?
Hasta la bye-bye.
Yeah! I always liked him the most. Nice. I love how they run, too. Everything is just so exaggerated. Sir Richard Rhodes. Whoa, damn, dude! And in this case, I don't mind that it's the same music track as stage 1. Ah, we all just died there. Fuck. Because it's so good. Jesus! Explosive action! Dude, this is so cool. Surprisingly, we've already just about beaten this. Yeah, this is the last boss of the game right here.
Cheerio, chap.
just like Cobra Commander. Oh, he's wearing bulletproof. Ah, shit. Ah.
I say, bit of bad luck.
Ah, the rose was the... Damn you, Bob! Yikes. It's so interesting how they did the reflection, man. It's just an acid flip, literally. This is so cool. And the main characters all right off into the sunset. They are Sunset Riders. That is great, man. I'm playing this with the FC 30 Pro by 8-bit Duo. I'm not going to use this for a long time. Pretty much yesterday and today, but I am going to go back to an Xbox controller. I want to save this. Like, I haven't been using the analog sticks much. Like, this is the most use it's gotten since I originally purchased it back in 2017. Oh, and it keeps... Ah, okay. So the game keeps looping. Let's just go through the first stage. I love how the first stage makes you feel like an utter badass. The level of detail in this is so great, man.
It's time to pay.
That's it. Who got it, Bob?
Marry me with my money.
Marry me with my money. Damn it, Bob! Alright. Damn you, Bob. Alright, let's go for the headliner. The one that everyone wants to see. Alright. So I already checked out, or set up all of the controller options earlier. So I just have to adjust slider controls and then recapture this. So now I don't normally like to play with rapid fire or cheats as we saw yesterday in Ninja Turtles. The game just reset because it kind of glitched out. So we're just going to turn on unlimited mutant powers, which, you know, why would they limit us? Oh, that's right, money. Align. So this is the boot screen, which is actually pretty interesting. This is what you can see the red on my screen here. Okay. Quick sound check. Classic by every stretch. X-Men. Okay. Wow, the Blob, White Queen, Magneto, Pyro, Juggernauts. Wendigo's in this too. The classic Wolverine. When he was red and yellow instead of blue and yellow. Ah, the Blackbird, nice. OG Storm, Dazzler. Dude. Okay.
In the 21st century, evil mutants led by Magneto aim to destroy the world. Humans can do nothing against the power of the evil mutant. The only hope is X-Men.
This is so cool. Kitty Pryde, Jesus.
Save the city.
Go and save the city. Okay, so. Let's see here. Infinite mutant power. Infinite mutant power. Infinite mutant power. Infinite mutant power. This is. I think there's a 6-player version as well, but I didn't bother with that. This just trivializes the entire thing. I remember back when I saw this in the arcade, which blew my mind because it was a double-wide cabinet with 2 monitors. Oh my god, that was insane. And that was for all 6 players. Okay, hold on a sec here. Infinite energy. Yeah, we're just going to turn all of these. Everybody fought to play as Wolverine. Colossus is really good too. Oh, that's all you heard in the arcade. Over and over again. Incredible. Nightcrawler was pretty badass too. That is a massively large police. So, whoever player 4 is, I think it's Storm. We're just a posse. So it's interesting because we go to the right, we go down, we go to the left, we go down, then we go to the right one more time. the Colossus, what's your superpower? I think Colossus is like the most OP. I think in a Japanese version, you actually don't use health for your healing power, or your mutant power. I think, yeah, the English version, just for difficulty's sake, was changed for that reason. I will say, this is one of the earlier beat 'em ups, so even though it's still very fun, much more fun with more than one player, obviously, as you can see here. But there's a lot of use of recycling. Like, they just they throw like two of the same bosses at you at one time. Ah. Yeah, it sucks. You've granted a special mutant power. Ooh.
X-Men. We have been taken by Magneto. However, we had time to locate their base on Island M. Destroy it.
This is so cool. Island M for Magneto! The soundtrack in this is really good. Totally 80s. If anybody has seen the Pride of the X-Men pilot episode, that's what this is based off of. Like we're on Planet of the Apes here, Jesus. I love how the Sentinels constantly get dismembered and like all their robotic parts are flying everywhere. That's amazing. Oh, I forgot we could hit people when they're down. We could jump into attacks too. The only other X-Men game I really enjoyed was a Sega Genesis version that Sega made. I believe they produced that in-house. That was actually really good.
X-Men, welcome to die.
Ah! Wendigo! Actually, it's Wendigo, but... Yo, Sai, what'd you think of the X-Men arcade game? What, are you mad? No, that's what I thought about. Smashing.
Go and rescue Kitty from the cave.
Kitty Pride? No, my cat. That Iron Man? They're totally palette swapped to be Iron Man. Just imagine you're like 10 years old and you go to the arcade and you see this double-wide arcade cabinet. It's like 4.5 feet wide by 5 feet tall. And it's fucking awesome. And it's loud and colorful. And there's nothing like it anywhere else. That's how it was to experience X-Men here back in the arcade days. Got all your tropes here. Bigger guys on vehicles shooting big guns at you. How do you battle this, like, legitly? That's cheap. Who do we fight here? Is this, Master Set or Master Mold, I think it's called? The effects and the sprite work done in this game are awesome. Seriously.
You must rescue the professor.
Okay. A lot of weird enemies in this, man. A lot of hidden compartments in the floors, too. The White Queen! This is for every kid who struggled in the 80s or the early 90s with this arcade game. They were all excited. They got to the arcade game, and the White Queen beat the fuck out of them. Well, let's just say for old time's sake, the snot out of him. Daddy, the X-Men arcade game! Oh my god, I'm dead! What happened to your $20, Jimmy? I lost it! Damn it, son, what did I tell you about that? But I love the arcade! We're not coming back for another month. No! That's for that kid. All of this is for that kid. Wait! Storm and Colossus are doing all of the work. Poor Wolverine, the coolest is whoa, is behind everybody. What the fuck? Why does Juggernaut have a gun? I guess they couldn't animate him much. So they just relegated him to a weapon. Ooh, his helmet came off. This is totally based off of the Pride of the X-Men.
X-Men, nice job. Magneto is over there. Follow me.
Magneto's over there! Let's get him! Ooh. Oh, shit! Dude, I forgot about this.
You fell into our trap.
Literally. Move on. What's up with all the pyros? See what I mean? You just don't make pyro in a factory. Pyro is awesome. I think it was Australian? That Pride of the X-Men pilot was incredible. I remember my Aunt Lucy used to wake up for me on Saturday mornings and record Marvel Action Universe. And I mostly had her do that for RoboCop, which is incredible still. It hasn't aged very well, but it's a cartoon and it's very good. But it was Dino Riders. I can't remember what else, but Dino Riders was part of it and RoboCop. And then they had the Pride of the X-Men as a pilot episode during. And I remember she caught it. And I watched the fuck out of that VHS tape, man. It was actually really well done. I mean, it was pure 80s. Even though it was like early 90s, but it was pure 80s. It must have been 1990 or 91. But man, it was actually really good. And you know, one thing that it really, I mean, of course it was a cartoon for kids. Cartoons back then were a little different, but it really nailed the point home of like classism and racism. Like, you know, everybody looked down on the X-Men because they were different, you know? But interesting stuff for sure. Great pilot episode too. All the voice acting work was so well done. And this is what The style of these sprites is based off of that pilot, I would think. I would 90% with 90% certainty it's based off of that.
X-Men. Magneto is planning to attack Earth from
He's thinking his shit.
asteroid base.
I'm on the pot, but I'm having a vision.
Before it's too late.
Do you have toilet paper, X-Men?
Sentinel.
Asteroid M. Yeah, dude, this is totally based off the pilot. How are we breathing? Mutants? Mutant powers? Was that your explanation? By the way, the achievements list for the Xbox 360 version of this, which does exist, were insane. I still have that. I still have my 360 with all the games on it. You cannot get those anymore, I don't think. I think they're still available through Marketplace if you purchased them. But if you haven't, you're shit out of luck. Especially Mortal Kombat, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which was a really good port. This, The Simpsons, there's a lot of games lost. And this goes back to my point about the importance of emulation. And why it's more along, it's rooted more in games preservation than piracy. Colossus Lightning. Oh, here we go, boss recycling time. I don't care if the boss is weak or not. This is shameless recycling. I think they were just trying to populate each stage with as much as they could, so they just resorted to recycling. Who the fuck knows? Needs more quarters. Put more bosses in. So if we fought these guys before, and they exploded, are they a clone, or did they magically come back? Because of Magneto's mutant powers?
I am Magneto. You are nothing.
Storm, Colossus, Cyclops, Wolvie, in that order. Damn it, Mystique! Forgot about that.
Alas, that was Mystique, not Magneto. Magneto is at another place. Go, X-Men.
I love how ambiguous it is. Or just like open-ended. It's like, yeah, he's in that place. He's over there. Why are you so vague, Professor X? I should make this my alarm sound in the morning. Boom! I was kidding. I haven't played this in a while. I don't remember any of this. Magneto is defeated. X-Men succeed to rescue Professor and return to Earth with the victory. But still, the battle against the threats of the evil has just begun. The struggle of X-Men will be continued. Note, the game is not over yet. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna do it this way. Actually, you know what? No. It's gonna take too long. Hold on. Let's just go back and reset it. Gonna pick up? Yes. Okay. All right. So I want to go through a couple of other characters. Now, also, I want to be very certain here. Echo, what's up, man? Okay, good. How you doing? Actually, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put my intermission screen on for just a second, and I'm going to use the bathroom. I will be right back. Please excuse me, don't go nowhere. We got more X-Men coming at you. Be where you live? Of course you live. Okay. So, come on, new BB.
Dazzler.
In the 20...
Nightcrawler.
Okay, now I didn't want them actually, but that's fine. Let's see here. So we want infinite energy and infinite mutant power. Infinite energy, infinite mutant. Infinite energy, infinite mutant power. Infinite energy. Dazzler's underrated, man. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm feeling the roster ain't correct here. Hold on. The cheats and everything reset. I'm going to do this one last time here. Okay. One last time. This is going to stick because it's already been open. Need to resize it. Okay. So I think the best way to go about this here is this. So we're going to want Colossus. And we'll select characters once we get in.
Colossus.
Dazzler. Nightcrawler. Storm. Okay, there we go. Poor Dazzler, she can't catch a break. Okay, now slider control. Think. Scan line. Okay, so that sticks. Okay. Infinite energy, infinite mutant power. Here we go. It's interesting because I have to use the analog stick to go through to navigate the menu. Dude, old school Storm. Oh my god. This is in line with the Pride of the X-Men pilot that Marvel debuted on Marvel Action Universe. Colossus is just broken. Yeah, look at her butt. Dazzler got a nice ass. Speaking of it's nice, my house burned down because a tornado that nearly formed. Whoa! Damn, dude, you can't catch a break. I am sorry to hear that. That sucks. I mean, pick the lesser of two evils. Ah, Jesus. Yeah, the Dazzler got a nice ass. So does Colossus, but he's all metal. Colossus is broken, dude. Colossus is like the best character secretly in the game. Nightcrawler's cool, Wolverine's the classic, but Colossus? That super is just a massive AoE blast. Oh, shit. I was known in the circus as the Incredible Nightcrawler. I don't. You can't. Unfortunately. So we can put on as many credits as we want. How do we beat these guys? So this week I've been doing 2 arcade games a day covering Konami games. Tomorrow we're going to do Simpsons and there was another one. Why can't I remember it? It'll come to me. Dude, the Dazzler's awesome, man. I don't care what anybody says. She's underrated. And what I love about these sprites is they're a byproduct of their time, but they have this distinct style to them. This is really cool. Oh, that's right. We got, tomorrow's gonna be The Simpsons and G.I. Joe. That's what I was thinking of. Okay. Colossus, what do you think of X-Men? So the trick is you just map all the buttons to the same controller, right? So you can see here, we go to input this machine. There you go. All of players' buttons are identically mapped to this one controller. This is actually really cool. My first time using it in like, God, since 2017, since I first purchased it. Oh, cool. We could go in there. Oh, how about that? This is where they build all the sentinels. Dude, this is so cool. Dude, oh my, yeah, right? That's what Colossus is doing. Dude, look at the range on this thing. I mean, that's nuts. He's fucking broken. So I think the best ones you want to use is, obviously Colossus is number 1. Storm, Wolverine, and the Dazzler, because the Dazzler, Storm, and Cyclops shoot in a direction, Wolverine slashes forward, and Colossus just fucking annihilates. No, Xavier is too busy being big. He's like, Magneto's over there. Have you ever gone through this, or like, how long has it been since you've last played this? Jesus. I'll take that as the never. Dude, this is awesome, man. Like, I was talking about this before you jumped in. The original arcade cabinet was a double-wide. So arcade cabinets were usually, I think, like, just about 6'2" with everything. And they were normally about, I would say, 3.5 feet wide. So it was 7 feet wide by 6'2" tall. Dude, like, it was crazy because it was 2 monitors together, and this was a 6-player cabinet. I mean, you know, The Simpsons was a 4-player. This was the deluxe 6-player cabinet. I got the 4-player ROM set. I should download the 6-player ROM set and just use everybody at the same time. But, dude, this was incredible. The only home release this got was on Xbox Live Arcade back in the 360 days. And I actually have that Xbox. My left. With a lot of other games you can't get anymore. That was back when Xbox Live Arcade actually meant something. Like, Xbox wasn't allowing you to have a ROM file over, I think, 750 megabytes. Like, that was their barrier of entry, and then they loosened that up, and, you know, now it's just Xbox Live. But Summer of Arcade and all that shit? Again, this is for every kid who was super excited to play X-Men and got their ass kicked. I'm gonna play as Wolverine and I'm dead. Daddy, give me 50 more cents. Son, that's $10 already. That's enough. Oh man, I can't play X-Men anymore. Oh, I skipped that, sorry. I love how we're fighting, like, lizard men. Like, what the fuck? I do not remember these guys from... This is probably from, like, one-off issue where, like, they went to, like, fight Lizard Man, literally. Not Soul Calibur sense either. Gazler got hit. Yesterday we had all the Ninja Turtle games, which was great. So yeah, tomorrow will be The Simpsons and G.I. Joe, which are two other often forgotten about Konami games. Well, more G.I. Joes than The Simpsons. Let's actually try beating people up as opposed to just melting them right away. Oh, look at that crawler! Yeah! And he shoots us into a well. Welcome! Ha ha ha! Dude, fucking Colossus for the win! I love that little emote, by the way. That's hilarious. Before you die, you see the well. I know it's Wendigo, but I always say Wendigo. Wendigo! Now, no Professor X. He's like, Magneto's over there. He's always kind of like generic in his sayings here, but listen.
Go and rescue Kitty from the cave.
Oh no, Kitty from the cave. Where? In the cave. Which one? The cave. Everybody huddle. Is it me or is like Iron Man? Like, look at these sprites, man. They're definitely Iron Man based. I guess they tried to get Mark IV suits or whatever, but they just couldn't animate them, so they palette swap Sentinels. Those totally look like Iron Man. Yeah, see, dude? They're totally Iron Man. He has a nice butt. I'm taking a screenshot of that. Who are we fighting here again? I forget. There we go. Huddle! Tell you something, I'd rather be playing this than Redfall.
You must rescue the professor.
You must rescue the professor! Dude, cool spot? Oh my god, cool spot is... I love that game, especially the first one. Now, this is interesting level design, because watch this. You can fall off the stage!
The White Queen will.
Yeah, dude, Colossus is just a fucking monster. these enemies are so weird. Hey, none of that. See, once again. Awesome. Thank God this is still fun, dude, because this just trivializes it. Like, just move to the right, tap button 3. Oh, shit. I love how the Sentinels explode into parts, though. That's a nice little touch.
Juggernaut will flatten you.
Okay. Get into positions, X-Men. Yep. Yep, hey, mutants for you. Well, Wolverine mostly, but everyone else, yeah. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch! Don't get me wrong, man. Vinnie Jones is an excellent actor. He's in a lot of my favorites. Snatch, Euro Trip. He's had a lot of other smaller parts, but he's always going to be remembered as a Juggernaut. He's like, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch! Like, this is like old school Marvel Kane Marco, not Vinnie Jones. Wait. Professor giving his wisdom here.
X-Men, nice job. Magneto is over there. Follow me.
Magneto's over there. Follow me. Where? There! That's where.
You fell into our trap.
And that's the old school Mystique from the 80s pilot and the early 90s cartoon, which is still phenomenal. To this day, it's still incredible. Oh, dude, that's cool. Nightcrawler teleported. Interesting. I want my money back! You know, that's why in the X-Men films, Magneto kept her around. You catch my drift? That's right. X2 is still excellent by today's standards. That was really good. The whole part where, like, they made Wolverine cry, I was like, the ending was okay, but the rest of the film was excellent. Power level 9,000. You know, that reference, I didn't even think of that reference. I feel like a lesser streamer now. They gotta do the dance where they reach in and touch both fingers like this. Whatever that is. I think that's where they merge. Like, Gogeta and Vegito. I know a little bit about Dragon Ball. I got into the whole Dragon Ball thing for a few years back when Z was popular. Tree of Might. All that stuff. Cell, Piccolo, Goku. They're all fucking awesome. I got into it for a short while. But yeah, Tree of Might with Broly. Like, looking back, that one was really boring. But it was cool. Like, you had to go to an import shop and buy the dubbed VHS cassette. Which was obviously bootleg, but it was the only way we could consume it. And then the actual DVD started coming out. And, like, then digital and streaming. But yeah, dude, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and all that, awesome. Gundam Wing, thank you, Toonami, for popularizing all of that. Power level 9000! He actually looks like Schwarzenegger with Stallone's head right there. And I'm sure for like the hardcore comic purists out there, they'll be able to tell you where all these enemies are from. I'm sure there's rhyme and reason to everything. Egyptian guy? I don't know. Wendigo? I don't know of him.
Magneto is planning to attack
Looks like he's on to John. He's like, yo, you gotta go kill Magneto. And by the way, bring back some toilet paper, please.
Earth from his asteroid base. You must foil his plan before it's too late.
Over there.
After the giant sentinel.
Magneto. Magneto's the big bad dude. You're thinking of X-Men versus Street Fighter, where Apocalypse was the last boss, where you fought his arm. But it was Apocalypse and X-Men versus Street Fighter, which is the best representation of the X-Men characters, if you ask me, because it modeled all of the sprites, and it also hired the voice actors from the '90s cartoon. But this here, the only thing I know for an absolute fact is this is based off of the Pride of the X-Men Marvel Action Universe pilots. There was supposed to be an entire series, and this is when Cyclops wore the full bodysuit, Wolverine was yellow and orange instead of blue and yellow and black, and he was Canadian. He's like, oh, she's not joining the X-Men, is she? She's just a kid. And Storm was more Egyptian, like in her mannerisms and all that stuff. She had the light accent. But yeah, dude, look up Pride of the X-Men. If you can remember to check it out, I highly suggest you do. It's on YouTube. You can easily find it. It's fucking awesome. And it was a pilot episode. And I believe Marvel was ready to go, and it just fell through. So the game was made off of it and all that, and it's just nothing happened. And then Fox came. Marvel animated through Fox and Haim Saban, who is responsible for a lot of stuff on Marvel Action Universe. It's interesting how things work out. And then Capcom popularized the whole 90s X-Men thing with all the fighting games. A couple of the SNES releases they did, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, I believe. The X-Men Sega Genesis iteration was a hybrid that Sega did. Oh, yeah, dude, actually, that's a good point. And, like, historically speaking, like, canonically, I believe, and I'm no comic buff by any stretch, I just know all the basics. But, Apocalypse was a pharaoh. And this isn't based off of that stupid X-Men Apocalypse piece of crap. I don't like saying that about movies, dude, but that was shit. It really was. But if you watch the 90s cartoon with Apocalypse and Archangel and all that, dude, Apocalypse was awesome. But Apocalypse is known as the first mutant, and he was also a pharaoh back in ancient Egyptian times. He's the oldest and first mutant. But yeah, dude, Apocalypse, oh, he's so badass. I am the Apocalypse. Dude, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, oh my god. We're gonna have to stream fighting games next week. This is the gift that keeps on giving. What's interesting is Data East made this, but it's Captain America and the Avengers. It's actually a really good side-scrolling beat-em-up. The style is completely different, but you played as either Captain America, Hawkeye, Vision, and Iron Man. It was a 4-player game, and it had a lot of like offbeat, like B-grade villains. Because, you know, who do you think of villains with the X-Men? You think of Magneto and like Omega Red and Apocalypse, and you had like Typhoon and like just really obscure villains. It's really cool. It's very creative. It's first of its kind. I'll have to stream it next week. We'll do like a pair of superhero games on Monday or something. But tomorrow will definitely be The Simpsons and G.I. Joe. We'll definitely do that. Saturday I'll do some Destiny, and Monday we'll get back into like superhero stuff. We'll start the week with Captain America, the Avengers, and Spider-Man. I think that'll be fun. Move right, press button 3. Move right, press button 3. Move right, press button 3. Dude, G.I. Joe's incredible. Oh my god. Like, by today's standards, it hasn't aged particularly well. But a lot of these games are a byproduct of their time. It's, again, you had to be there type of ordeal, right? But, dude, the G.I. Joe arcade game, like, the only one time I ever saw that out in the wild. A lot of these arcade games I only ever saw once. Like, you know, I mean, I went to a lot of places as a kid, like around my geographical area where I used to live. Like, you know, I went to the Milford Mall a lot. I went to a lot of movie theaters. I went to Chuck E. Cheese quite a bit when I was a kid. You know, all the places kids went to back then instead of just sitting at home all day. I mean, we did that with Sega Genesis, but you wanted the best shit, you went to those places. And I only saw G.I. Joe at Chuck E. Cheese. I only saw this X-Men 6-player cabinet at the old school Milford Mall's Time Out, back when that was huge. I only saw Alien vs. Predator once in the arcades at some one-off passerby movie theater. Then, you know, you had Milford Amusements, which had all your common shit. But, like, all of these rare games you saw out in the wild infrequently, I only saw once at one location, again, as a passerby. But, like, oh, that's all you heard. The White Queen. She's kind of rocking the same outfit as Mystique, and I think that's Master Mold, which makes no sense because Master Mold is supposed to be the size of the Giant Sentinel, but hey, whatever. Nightcrawler uses his teleport to damage people. That's weird, I guess? Oh, dude, it's so cool his helmet comes off. What? It's so weird he has a bazooka. It's also crazy to think that, like, Stan Lee came up with the majority of these characters, dude. That's fucking cool. He's totally focused on Storm. Damn it, Mystique!
Alas, that was Mystique, not Magneto. Magneto is in another place.
Yeah, man, he's considered, like, the most powerful mutant on the planet due to, like, he can control anything with magnetism. Like, down to the point where he could control the iron in your blood. And if you're familiar with the comics, like, I still have a whole bunch of cards, too. Like, I collected cards back when I was Marvel cards and all that. He yanked all of the adamantium out of Wolverine, which people hated that, and they magically put it back in him, like, years later. But he almost killed Wolverine, ripping his adamantium out. That was awesome. Magneto's such a fascinating character, man. All of, like, the classic characters are so cool. Like, I mean, Wolverine wasn't even an X-Men. Like, he was part of, like, the X-Force comic or something like that, or he appeared in Incredible Hulk, I think, issue 78. And he's been, like, a staple of the X-Men forever. And it's so cool with him and Sabretooth having that rivalry, how they're kind of like brothers in a way. Yeah. And Deadpool's fascinating too. And I mean, Ryan Reynolds did a fantastic job with his 2 Deadpool movies. Not X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was fucking terrible, but like Ryan Reynolds did a fantastic job as Deadpool. But Deadpool as a character in the comics is awesome because he was part of the Weapon X program with Wolverine, and Wolverine was iteration 10. And I don't know which one Deadpool was, but it's his mutant power healed so well that, like, I mean, he could get dismembered and grow limbs back. Like, his healing power, like, beats out Wolverine's or usurps Wolverine's healing powers. Crazy stuff, dude. Such fascinating lore, like, as a whole, not like later stuff, which I'm not familiar with, but like the earlier, like, establishing comics and the original lore is awesome stuff. And this all stems from it. Great. Go, X-Men. Like, Iron Man goes, speaking of Iron Man goes after Magneto. Magneto's like, yeah. But yeah, the most powerful telepath on the planet is restricted to a wheelchair. It's fascinating character design, man. You know, now today we wouldn't see Storm like that. She'd be covered up. You know, she'd be perfect. She'd be a Mary Sue. It wouldn't be the X-Men, because, you know, that means men. Dude, Magneto just... It's a shame that they couldn't license things out accordingly, because having the X-Men in the MCU would have been fucking awesome. Dude, like, yeah, it just goes to show you, man. Even Colossus, Magneto's, like, fascinating characters, man. And this is what excites me about retro games, is we're talking about all of this because I just so happened to stream X-Men today, and now we're having all of this come out of it. That's the best. It's the best. I highly suggest, man, later on today, look up Pride of the X-Men. It's really good. It's about 20 minutes long, you know, with all the commercials back in the day. But I'm sure you could find it in either 3 or 4 parts on YouTube. Also, it was part of the Marvel Action Universe block, so there was Spider-Man, RoboCop, and Dino Riders. Yep. Plastic gun. There you go. Plastic man. Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! And there we go. We can hear explosions in space, yes. Magneto is defeated. X-Men succeeded to rescue Professor and return to Earth with the victory. But still, the battle against the threats of the evil has just begun. The struggle of X-Men will be continued. Note, the game's not over yet. Yeah, dude, this is 2 playthroughs, man. I can't. I'm done. That's enough. We're done today. Lee. Read! Note, the game isn't over yet. I can't read that with HLSL on. But this is, again, this is lost time, and it's a byproduct of it, and it's fucking awesome. Send the Hulk. Sorry, it's not the X-Men! Excuse me. Aurora Monroe. And a lot of people to this day still consider the X-Men cartoon that Fox did as the absolute best. And I have all the episodes on a hard drive somewhere. Like the opening theme, like the first up until Days in the Future Past, the cartoon was phenomenal. And then it kind of started losing its luster when they started adding in Omega Red. I would say when Mr. Sinister shows up, that's when the writers got sloppy. I mean, it still held true to the comics, but it wasn't as good. It's just like the magic was gone. Like with Batman the Animated Series. When it turned to the adventures of Batman and Robin, that's when it just, like, it jumped the Shark Tank, man. But man, Batman the Animated Series. Chemical biological warfare versus Magneto? I don't know, man. He would find, that's like, oof. It's hard. See, now you got me thinking. Chemical Brothers versus Magneto? I don't know. Let Forever Be would be the outcome. Aha! Oh, dude, Wolverine. Oh, man. Young man! X-Men. Trademark. I hate how they always have that TM there. We know, dude. And it just keeps looping indefinitely, dude. Yeah, so... Alright, that is it for today. It's always fun to retro and reminisce here on Saikoro's Gaming Station. Echo, I hope to see you tomorrow. We're going to have the X-Men. We're going to have The Simpsons 4-player simultaneous as here, and G.I. Joe 4-player simultaneous as here. Dude, this is twice in a row. I went through the second time just for you, by the way. You came in just as I was going through the first time, and I'm like, nah, I gotta go through it again. But yeah, this is always a trip. I love doing retro stuff. And again, if you can't make it, I always upload my pertinent streams to YouTube. Like, if I do Destiny, like, 3 days in a row, like, if I should go that route, like, I'll probably post, like, 1 or 2 days. But I've been pretty good with documenting my streams, especially with, like, important one-offs or, like, games of interest. You know what I mean? So check it out. It's under the Retro and Reminisce thing. Just go to my YouTube. You'll see Saikoro YouTube. You'll see it. I'm going to upload this as soon as I'm done here. So I will catch you soon. Always a pleasure to see you. Don't be a stranger. Thank you so much for the support. It's always so much fun when we reminisce about anything, really. Your company is awesome, sir. I'll see you all soon. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace out. Be safe. Stay warm. Stay well fed, man. Do the right thing. Catch you later.